Hi everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Nancy, and if this is your first time coming across my channel, please subscribe and also turn on the notification bell so you'll be the first to be notified when I upload new tutorials. So in today's class, we're going to be learning how to make this side ruched bubu with a straight neckline and a snatched waist. If this is something you're interested in learning, keep on watching and let's get started. The name of this fabric is called a chiffon crepe, and I made use of 2.5 yards. You can decide to make use of 2.5 yards, but if you want your bubu to be very full, then 3 yards is fine. So now I'm going to fold the two ends of this fabric, just like you see me doing. And after folding the fabric into two this way, I'll go ahead to fold the length side of the fabric into two. So I practically folded this fabric into four. Please take note of how I'm folding this fabric so you don't make any mistake. So once you have folded your fabric into four correctly, the top of the fabric should be like this, while the bottom of the fabric should be like this. Now from the top of the fabric, we are going to be using this as our shoulder line. Please take note of that. Now the next thing I'm going to be doing is to place my shoulder measurement divided by 2. So from the center fold here, I would mark 7 inches, which is my shoulder measurement divided by 2. Now on this point I marked, I'm going to be placing my tape to mark my desired sleeve length. And my desired sleeve length is 24 inches, so I'm going to place my tape from the shoulder point here. But the length on this fabric is just 23 inches, so I'm just going to use the entire fabric like that on this side. But if you want to reduce your length, you can go ahead to reduce it, but for me I'm leaving it like that. Now for this particular style, the neckline is going to be a straight neckline. So from the center fold here, I'm going to mark just 5 inches for the neck width. If you're a plus size person, please mark 6.5 or 7 inches. So this is me marking 5 inches for my size. From the sleeve length here, I'm going to come down to mark 1 inch, just 1 inch, and then I'll connect this 1 inch point to meet the neck width, which is 5 inches that I marked earlier. So this has formed a slant line. So because of the choice of fabric I'm using, you'd notice that the chalk isn't visible, but this is the best I could do at this point. So the next thing I'll do now is to cut through the straight line, but before doing that, I went ahead to pin my fabric together so it doesn't shift. So I'm going to stop cutting when I get to the point I marked as my neck width, which was the 5 inches. Now from this 5 inches point here, I'm going to spread out the shoulder slope this way to open the neckline. Remember I said it's a straight neckline, so I'm going to open it this way. I'm splitting it so that I'll be able to have both the front piece and the back piece cut together. So I've done that and this is how it should be. Now I'm going to notch the top of the neck width, which is 5 inches that I marked. Please take note of that. So that's basically all for the neckline and for the shoulder. What we are going to be doing now is to mark the waistline. So I'm going to place my tape from the shoulder to mark my waistline. My waistline is 15.5 inches, but because of stitching allowance on the shoulder, I added half inch to that, which made it 16 inches altogether. So now this waistline is going to be a guide to mark the points where the inner belt would be attached to. So I'm going to place my tape from the center fold of the fabric on the waistline to mark my waist measurement divided by 4. So this is my waist measurement divided by 4. Now from this point, I'm going to rule a straight line to meet the center fold of the fabric on the waistline. Please take note of this. So just a quick reminder, from the center fold to this point is my waist measurement divided by 4. So basically this point here is for one of the waist belts. To mark the second point, I'll place my finger on this point to raise the fabric here and use this as a guide in marking the second point. So that would be for the second waist belt. So now the next thing I'm going to do is to mark the points I want the ruch to be placed. So remember that the ruch is by the side, right? So I'm going to place my tape from my waist measurement here inward to mark 3 inches. So this new point is going to be used in drawing the ruched line. Now from the center fold to this new point is 4 inches. So I'm going to place my tape from the center fold here to mark 4 inches all the way down to the bottom of the fabric. So I'm placing my tape from the center fold to mark 4 inches all the way down to the bottom of the fabric. And you can see that this is already forming our ruch line. Now I'm going to place my tape from the shoulder to mark my desired length for the bubu. And at the bottom here, I notice that the fabric isn't equal. So I'm just going to work with the part that is equal. This is 54 inches. So I'm just going to cut my fabric on 54 inches. If you want yours to be shorter, then you can reduce the length. If you want yours to be longer, you know you need to increase the amount of fabric you are using. Now I'm going to mark my sleeve opening. From the sleeve length here, I'm going to place my tape measure to mark the sleeve opening of 7 inches. For a plus size person, you can mark 8 inches. Now from this point I mark 7 inches, I'm going to go in by 1 inch. And then from this 1 inch point, I'll draw a straight line all the way down. But before doing that, I'm also going to make a little curve around this area so that I'll be able to conveniently sew that part. Now I'm going to extend that 1 inch I marked initially all the way down to the bottom of this bubu. So now I'm going to trim the sides following the white line. So this part is for the sleeve opening. You'd notice that it's quite small, and this is because it's around the wrist area. So guys, this is basically how to go about the cutting. Now we need to work on the inner belt and the ruched area. So to do this, I'm going to unpin the fabric so I can take out the back piece of this bubu in order for us to be focused on just the front piece. So guys, I've taken out the back piece and this is just for the front piece. Now I'm going to spread out my front piece properly, and then you notice these two notched points. This is our neck width we notched initially. Now these 2 points here, that's from here to this other point, is our waist measurement, and that is where the waist belt will be attached to. So guys, I've gone ahead to make the waist belt off camera. It's very easy to do, so there's no need to show that. Now on this opening on the waist belt, I'm going to fold it in by half of an inch to pin it directly on this point I chalked. And then I would also pin the second edge of the waist belt right on this other point I chalked, and then I would head over to my sewing machine to stitch it properly. So I've gone ahead to stitch the belt, and this is how it should be. Now the next step is to fold the hem of the front piece. I'm going to fold it in by half of an inch and further fold it in by half of an inch. So the reason I'm folding the hem right now is because of the strap that will be used in creating the ruch. So the hem needs to be folded before placing the strap on it so that the rope for the ruch will be easily adjustable. So when we get to that stage, you understand better. So guys, I've gone ahead to secure the hem of the front piece. The next thing we want to work on is the strap that will be attached directly on this line. This straight line here is what we drew initially for the ruch, right? So this is the band I'm going to be using. The width of the band is 3 inches. While for the length, I'm going to be using the length of this white line here as a guide in getting the length of the strap. So this is basically it here. I'm going to be adding extra 2 inches to the length because of folding allowances. So once you have your strap ready, the next thing you're going to do is to stitch the edges of the strap at the top by folding it half of an inch and further folding it half of an inch, and you do the same at the bottom as well, after which you would iron the sides by half of an inch inward. So this is basically how your strap should be. You can see that I stitched both ends at the top and at the bottom, and then I folded the sides by half of an inch inward. Now I'm going to start by placing my strap at the bottom, that's at the hem of my front piece here. Make sure you're placing the strap on the wrong side of the fabric. Now while placing the strap, I'll go ahead to use my pins to hold down the strap. making sure that the strap is actually on the straight line. I even noticed that the strap was still a bit longer than the white line, but I actually left it like that. It doesn't matter. So I'm just going to keep pinning, and once I'm done pinning, I would head over to my sewing machine to stitch the edges. Make sure you're folding the edges by half of an inch inward. The iron has helped you to do that already, but you still need to use your fingers to make sure that it's accurate. And then you're also going to fold this part inward to stitch with a straight stitch all the way down to the hem. And after stitching, this is how the strap is going to look like. So once you're done stitching the strap, the next thing you need to do is to divide the strap into two. So I'm going to be marking the center of the strap with a straight line, and I'll head over to my sewing machine to make a straight stitch directly on the line. So this would help you to divide the strap into two. So once you have done that, you're going to use this same fabric to make a long rope. This is something that is very easy to do, so I did it off camera as well. So the length of the rope should be at least 10 inches longer than the strap. You can see it right. Now I'm going to use my safety pin to insert this rough opening of the rope into the strap from the bottom here. So I've passed the first strap into the first hole, and then just make sure that you're taking out about 3 inches upward for now so that it doesn't pull off. Now the next thing you're going to do is to insert the second strap, which I'll be doing off camera in order not to waste your time. So guys, I've gone ahead to insert the second rope. Now at the top here, I left about 1 inch of the rope upward. I would head over to my sewing machine to stitch directly on this strap that demarcated the ropes so that the ropes doesn't pull off. So I've gone ahead to make a straight stitch here, and this is how it is on the right part of the fabric. So this is basically all for the front piece. So guys, this is my back piece here, and then from the notched part at the top here, you can identify that that is the neckline. Now the first thing we are going to be doing is to fold the hem of the back piece inward by half of an inch and further fold it in by half of an inch. You know, we did this on the front piece, right? So this is what we are doing on the back. So after stitching the hem of the back piece, the next step is to spread out the back piece. So this is the right side of my back piece facing me, and then from here you would notice the neck measurement, which is the two notched points at the top here. So now I'm going to place the right side of the front piece directly on the right side of the back piece now. Then I'm also going to make sure that the two notched points, that's from the front piece and the back piece, aligns. I'm placing them on each other because that is going to be the neck opening. Remember that the neckline is a straight neckline, so that is why it's looking this way. And then I'll stitch the rest of the shoulder part together. I'll do the same on the other side as well. So let's identify the neck opening. So I'm going to use my chalk to mark the point I notched for my neck opening. Now from this point, I'm going to mark 1 inch below the neck measurement, and then I would make a straight stitch following the direction of the chalk by 1 inch all the way down to the sleeve opening. I would also mark 1 inch on the neck opening here, then make a straight stitch all the way down to the sleeve opening on this side. So guys, after stitching the shoulders together, this is how it's going to be, and this opening here is for the neck. So this is our neck opening. Now we are going to spread out the fabric this way. So at this point, I would head over to my overlocking machine to overlock the edges of this seam allowance around the shoulder and the neck area. But if you don't have an overlocking machine, you can actually use an hemming gum to do this, but I'll show you guys how to go about it. So I've gone ahead to overlock the edges. Now for those of us that do not have an overlocking machine at the moment, all you can just simply do is to place the hemming gum below the seam allowance around the neckline, and once you've done that, you head over to the sewing machine to make a stitch around the neckline following the direction of the chalk. So after stitching the neck area, this is how it should be. Now the next thing we are going to do is to fold the sleeve opening here by half of an inch and further fold it by half of an inch to stitch. And then on this other side, I would head over to the sewing machine to stitch the sleeve opening as well after folding. So guys, I've secured the sleeve opening. The next thing we're going to do is to place the front piece directly on the back piece. So this is the sleeve opening area on the side, and this part is the neck opening. Now from the sleeve opening on this side, I'll stitch all the way down by 1 inch to the hem of the top or dress. It depends on how you want to wear it. Now on this other side, on the sleeve opening, I would also stitch by 1 inch all the way down to the bottom. So this is the sleeve opening here. This is the second sleeve opening on this other side. We have come to the end of the tutorial. This is the neck opening and this is the ruched part. So you can see how easy it is to make this BUBU ruched dress. I hope this tutorial was helpful and you were able to learn one or two things. Thank you for watching to the very end. And if you have not subscribed to my channel yet, please subscribe and also follow me on Instagram at Stylemebynancy to help me build my page. Thank you very much and see you in my next one.